Assalamu alaikum, Hassan bhai. What's your controversial call?
Hi, Kala. Thank you for having me. I think it's founders. Controversial call is that founders are building solutions in search of a problem. It's called SIF as well, solution in search of a problem. So हुआ ये कल कि जब पाकिस्तान में एक सर्ज आया फंडिंग में 2021-22 में जब हमारे स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम में बहुत पैसे आए एयरलिफ्ट all of these companies. So suddenly, entrepreneurship became cool and people saw a lot of money coming into it. And hence we saw a new wave of entrepreneurs coming into the industry. Although 21-22 के बाद आपकी फंडिंग गायब हो गई, but we saw a lot of budding entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs coming in and fitting a solution or coming up with a solution already and then trying to find a problem. Whereas in my to the best of my opinion, to the best of my thinking, entrepreneurship or fund or startup venture building starts with a problem. You identify a problem, you also have some relevance to that problem or in terms of solving that problem, and then you go about and you're very passionate about it, either due to a deep rooted personal emotional connection. Let's say somebody is solving for differently abled people, creating more accessibility from them through a startup. They might have a very strong personal connection because they would have somebody in their family who's differently abled, and hence they have this passion of solving it for them. For example, how Imran Khan created Shaukat Khanum, where all the odds were stacked against him, but because his mother passed away from cancer, so he almost had this personal passion of solving this problem, and he did so. So so it's about finding a problem, not importing a problem, not taking it from somebody else, but genuinely finding a problem. And even if you get inspired from somebody in some other country, in some other market doing it, you also need to have at least certain relevance, right? I don't think that you should know all about that problem. For example, if somebody is solving an agriculture problem, they should at least know some dynamics, market dynamics, should have some background, some experience, right? जरूरी नहीं है कि सिर्फ एग्रीकल्चर की प्रॉब्लम वही लोग सॉल्व कर सकते हैं जिस स्पेस में रहे पहले, बट देन ऑल्सो क्योंकि स्टार्टअप प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं वो इट्स सो डिफिकल्ट ऑल्सो, अगर आप लोग की पर्सनल रेलिवेंस और कोई पर्सनल ग्रज नहीं है उस प्रॉब्लम के अगेंस्ट, कोई रेलिवेंट connection नहीं है, background नहीं है ना, तो you give up too easily and you give up too early, right? So hence I think people should stop looking for solutions in search of a problem. They should start with the problem and see how they can solve it, how big is the problem, how big is the market for it, and all of that. So yeah.
सही हसान भाई, इसी उसके साथ ना आई हैव टू फॉलो अप क्वेश्चंस राइट फॉर दिस। फर्स्ट फॉलो अप तो हम लोग ने जैसे इस कॉल से पहले ही मैंने आपको मेंशन किया कि दिस हैज बीन, इट्स नॉट समथिंग कि जाहिर बात है जैसे आपने बोला कि इट्स नॉट समथिंग आई पुल्ड आउट ऑफ थिन एयर, इस ये नॉर्मल प्रॉब्लम है एंड इट्स सो मच प्रीच्ड बट पीपल स्टिल फॉल इनटू दिस ट्रैप कि यार नहीं प्रॉब्लम नहीं मिली बस सोल्यूशन कोई निकालो एआई के थ्रू या कुछ भी करके। And secondly, there's this you might have heard of it, painkiller and multivitamin problem. Say तो painkiller, you're a painkiller startup or you're a multivitamin startup. Painkiller के लिए yes, you need a problem for and you need to give a solution for it. But what is the case if someone's targeting like a multivitamin startup?
Very good follow-up questions. 100%. I see. I picked this term up from Y Combinator. I was going through their content, and I think they produce very good content. They're one of the leading, accelerators and incubators in the tech space worldwide, right? So they come up with a lot of good studies and a lot of good facts, and all of those things. So I picked it up from there, and then I think very aptly put about painkiller problems, right? So people generally painkiller solutions, right? So they generally come up with a solution that just targets the surface of it and they don't understand the root cause or they've not done the root cause analysis. So it solves a temporary issue, but then it becomes irrelevant too fast. There's one other, this reminds me of this one other sort of startup ideas or solutions again that we spoke about. They're called tar pit ideas as well, right? So yesterday only I was a part of a pitching competition, and I think out of 10, 12 startups that were pitched there, two, three of them at least were tar pit. 25-30% of them were tar pit ideas. So tar pit is essentially, it's like उर्दू में दलदल बोलने हैं आप, ये ऐसे startup problems होते हैं या ऐसे problems होते हैं जिनको generally कोई जना हर बैच में हर आपको बिजनेस देंगे, और बहुत स्ट्रक्चरल इश्यूज होते हैं, सामने होते हैं, बहुत सॉल्व करना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है। पीपल कि हम ये कम्युनिटी, आजकल पैडल चल रहा है, तो जी हम एक ऐप बनाते हैं जिसमें हम कम्युनिटी को साथ मिला लेंगे, और चार लोग मिल जाएंगे और वो पैडल खेल लेंगे, और स्टफ लाइक दैट। बट आई थिंक कि जब व्हाट्सएप और इस तरह की चीजें होती हैं जो कि बहुत इंटीग्रेटेड है आपकी लाइफ में, तो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर consumers to switch on unless the value proposition is so great कि वो जी एक ऐप डाउनलोड करें to be able to meet other people. The idea sounds great, पैडल अप पे है, सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है, आगे भी 5-6x हो जाएगा अगले 3-4 सालों में पाकिस्तान में, sport has picked up and all, but again WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups are still there, and it's very difficult for people to download another app. Something similar is कि जी कल ही मुझे पिच हुआ कि लोगों की व्हीकल्स ब्रेक डाउन हो जाती हैं, तो हम एक ऐप बनाते हैं जिसपे वो जाएं और वहां पे हम मैकेनिक्स को और लोगों को कनेक्ट करते हैं, राइट? साउंड्स वेरी सिंपल, और है प्रॉब्लम भी है कि जी इफ योर व्हीकल ब्रेक्स डाउन, व्हाट डू? यू डू नॉट हैव अ स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड ऐप, बट देन अगेन थिंक ऑफ द प्रैक्टिकलिटी ऑफ द सोल्यूशन, एंड ऑल्सो द फैक्ट के पाकिस्तान में एक और बड़ा मसला है कि जब आप मैच मेकिंग करते हैं through a startup, through a platform, commission evasion is a big issue that Kareem also faced in Pakistan, where drivers would just say कि आप प्लेटफॉर्म को छोड़ें, हालांकि they became powerful enough to be able to monopolize the supply and demand, but they were still not able to evade this issue कि जहाँ पे लोग उनका कमीशन खाना चाहते हैं, तो वो उसको evade कर सकें. Food Panda has to create a monopoly to be able to sort of evade that. Now this is the only platform where restaurants can get online orders, other than their own online websites and social media platforms, right? So so Food Panda has been able to do that, but took them hundreds of millions of dollars in a couple of years, right? So I think carpet ideas are also very common and very, very attractive problems that people get pulled into, but they don't realize that, they're very difficult to solve and almost impossible as well. So, yeah.
चले खैर जज़ाकल्लाह हसन भाई. I think that's a good call to have. That's a good small sound bite to have. If nothing else to add, that's where we'll end the call.
Right. No, thank you so much, Tala, for having me, and looking forward to speaking to you again.